now?
Hey, Steve, what about me?
Thank God you're here and I need you the most.
We came to say we're going to miss you. Late night is not going to be the same without you.
You say yes, I say no. You say stop, but I say go.
And there it is. We have the curtain coming down on the TV host Stephen Colbert's The Late Show on CBS. Doug, a big moment for American television.
Why? Going out with a bang. Paul McCartney turning out the lights on Manhattan's Ed Sullivan Theater. Look, you know, the New York Times chief television critic, he basically quipped the end of an era, but maybe the era ended him being Stephen Colbert. When future historians look perhaps for Exhibit A, a singular moment as evidence of Donald Trump's full-frontal assault on U.S. democracy, they might look no further than this moment. The final episode, the swan song, the cancellation by CBS, the owner of The Late Show, the network on which it ran for 33 years, 11 of which Stephen Colbert was the host. They might see this moment as sort of seminal, as a real marker in the media landscape under Trump. And why do I say that? Stephen Colbert, there are many late night show hosts in the U.S. It's a phenomenon in the U.S. There's a whole galaxy of them. But his star shone especially bright. And the reason is because he really redefined the genre of political satire. He started out way back when, in the days when basically he satirized politics. But in this era, it's more like politics has started to satirize itself. He started out with a show on cable news called The Colbert Report, in which he played a character called Stephen Colbert, who was not himself. It was supposed to be a conservative commentator who was really this bombastic right-wing blowhard who basically was mocking what he called truthiness. It's this sense of the truth is really more about what feels right than what is actually factually right and true. And he evolved from there, and he ended up taking over The Late Show from a man who had the spot for 22 years, David Letterman. He took it over in 2015, and Colbert's coming to the helm of the Late Show coincided with another man coming to the helm, Howard. That was Donald Trump going up that escalator first in Manhattan. And so the trajectories, in a sense, really coincided. What Colbert, the reason he struck a note with so many Americans beyond partisanship, is because he was, as one person put it, he had a unique ability to be human. He brought a sort of compassion and empathy. It wasn't a nastiness to the air. It wasn't vainglory. It wasn't about himself. And people really felt connected in a very fragmented media age, as a lot of the critics put it, where people were disconnected. They no longer had a gathering spot anymore. Everyone's in their own little media bubbles. Colbert still offered that sort of platform where he didn't just comment on politics and culture, but as one critic put it, he expanded the space of what could be said there. So he was really an amalgamation of so many different things. And I just want to give our viewers this one thing. He was interviewed by the New York Times, and he was asked about the partisanship, the fact that he was just a partisan, this anti-Trump partisan. And I want them to see, this is what he told the New York Times. He always rejected the partisan label. What he says, he said, "I don't have any problem with Trump being a Republican. I have a problem with Trump being a complete narcissist who's only working for his own interest and does not appear to care if the entire world burns." That is not a partisan position. So he rejected a lot of the critics who just said this is about the far left media and people like Stephen Colbert taking it over. This was really about right now a pivotal moment right now. And the question going forward is, after Colbert's exit, will there be room for anyone like a Colbert? CBS doesn't have a late show anymore. It's replacing with something that's very dissimilar.
And so suspicious timing, Doug, this cancellation of The Late Show. A lot of people not accepting the official reason given by CBS.
Many people, including some of the big TV critics in America who very closely have followed the industry. Look, look at the timing. You know, a lot of people actually did a timeline of the timing of what it is. When CBS announced, and this was last July, that it was going to cancel The Late Show after 33 years, but especially after 11 years of Colbert, the reason they found this timing suspicious, the announcement came just 3 days after Stephen Colbert had used a monologue on his show to ruthlessly mock Paramount's $16 billion billion would be amazing, $16 million legal settlement with Paramount, CBS's parent company. At the time, Paramount was going through an acquisition, and it needed approval from the Trump administration. So it was a week before Paramount its $8 billion merger with Skydance, and that was approved by federal regulators, the Federal Communications Commission, a Trump body. So a lot of people see this cancellation of this show and booting Stephen Colbert off the air, as a lot of people see it, as just a confirmation that right now a lot of the corporate moguls in America and CBS's parent company are doing the bidding of Trump in the name of endearing themselves to this administration. They're getting all the people off the air that Trump doesn't like, critical voices, dissenting voices, voices for open and free speech and extra space.
But this isn't just a US phenomenon. Some people say that we're seeing such tendencies elsewhere, in Europe as well, in France.
Well, let's bring it right home here to France. Absolutely. The US is not in a media bubble of its own. And the same, what we're seeing here in France is a lot of sort of right-wing, far-right politics are now fusing, in a sense, with a lot of the corporate interests. And one of the big names right now in the French media landscape is the ultra-conservative billionaire Vincent Bolloré. He has an empire which he's been sort of building up, a media and other empire. But it includes big French media outlets such as Europe 1, such as the biggest Sunday weekly paper, also CNews, which is sort of like a Fox News, a French equivalent to Fox News. And they say that more and more, a lot of these media institutions are being influenced by right-wing, far-right populist politics in France, similar tendencies to what we're seeing.
Thank you, Doug. That's all we have.